Good evening. It is 6 p.m., March 12th, and I am going to call this Sedro-Woolley City Council to order. Please stand with me to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, just going quickly through roll call. I see all the council members are here, but Councilman Loy?
Here.
Councilwoman Kesty?
Present.
Councilwoman Diamond?
Present.
Councilman Henderson?
Here.
Councilman Koch?
Present.
Councilman Burns?
Present.
And Councilman Lavaca.
Here.
All right, excellent. So looking for an approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I'll second that.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Councilwoman Kesty, seconded by Councilwoman Diamond. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item E, the consent agenda with items 1 through 11. Do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Councilman Burns, seconded by Councilman Koch. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, going right into City Administrator report.
Yes, Mayor Johnson, members of the council, I'm going to turn it over to Bill Bullock tonight to give an update on our city engineer search. It's been going on for a while.
Thank you. So we actually have a real city engineer that we've made an offer to. So search for a city engineer has been kind of rocky as we've been going on. Lots of folks out there that civil engineers are hard to find. If I had a mechanical engineer, we would have had somebody at the end of September. But we've had several mechanical engineers and other folks outside the industry apply that weren't necessarily what our preferred candidate would be. We have had one, and then he had to back out because of family concerns. And so we've hired a gentleman by the name of Peter Lane. I'll just briefly kind of go over some of his experience. He's got a bachelor's in civil engineering in 2003. He actually has a master's in engineering with a specialty in structural and geotech. And then he's had his engineering license since 2008. This gentleman, so I'm familiar with what this gentleman did in a little bit different way. He was in the Navy, and he was a public works officer in the Navy. One of my first mentors in Blaine was a retired public works officer from Bremerton, a Navy base. Public works officer is what the Navy calls their public works director. So think of every single Navy base as a small city, and you have a group of civil engineers in that office that manage all the roads, all the streets, all the sidewalks, all the sewer, all the water, all the everything, okay? And this gentleman was an assistant public works officer both at NAS Whidbey and in Okinawa, Japan. And also at NAS Whidbey, he was, my notes, was also the supervisory community planner, which is the equivalent of Tom to a certain extent, where he actually, Navy bases have zoning and they actually deal, it's kind of funny, they call their stuff base development and reducing base sprawl instead of urban sprawl. But that's a thing for, Navy bases to figure out where they're gonna put their personnel and where they're gonna put their hangars and facility infrastructure and all that. So, and on Navy bases, they do also hire most of the design out to consultants like we do and manage those construction projects under federal regulations and standards, and they work with DOE and Army Corps of Engineers and everything else. So it's really analogous to what we do as cities, so I'm kind of excited to have him from that standpoint. And most recently, he's coming from the USDA Agricultural Research Services Department out of Bellingham, and they, of course, also build infrastructure and building for that U.S. federal agency. And he's also worked for the U.S. Forest Service, designing roads and culverts and all that stuff. So he's got a very extensive civil background, about 24 years of experience in total, and I'll stop talking because I'll keep talking for hours about how happy I am to have him. So starting on Monday, and we will formally introduce him to council on the first meeting in April.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
And I've got one more item.
All right.
We put out this afternoon on Facebook an update press release regarding the mayor achieving her advanced certificate of municipal leadership. So I just wanted to say a few words about that. To achieve an advanced certificate of municipal leadership through the Association of Washington Cities, somebody must complete training in 5 core areas, and they must complete 60 hours of training and also demonstrate local community service. Those who earn the advanced certificate have continued to strive for excellence by attending conferences and trainings, serving their community, and further developing leadership skills. So just wanted to publicly congratulate the mayor on this accomplishment. Councilmember Burns has also accomplished the same level at this point. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, moving on to council members' reports. So Councilman Loy?
Greetings. We had a public safety committee meeting this afternoon, but the main subjects were in staffing, guns, and that's basically the main ones on both sides of the staffing for the fire department, staffing for the police department, and the interesting one is they got to replace their firearms, which ought to be kind of interesting. That's my report.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Kesty?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Diamond?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Henderson?
Nothing for me tonight, thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Cock?
Yes, I'd just like to commend a community project. There was a interesting story. It was a week or two ago in the Skagit Valley Herald about Sedro-Woolley High School students building 4 tiny homes for homeless folks. And it was apparently supported by a Seattle-based low-income housing institute, which I've never heard of. And that institute provided the materials for the partnership through Lowe's. So it's, and it's said in the story that Dan Caldwell, the high school's skilled and technical science teacher, was leading the project. So I think that should be commended. Thank you.
All right, yes, thank you. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Councilman Burns?
Sedro-Woolley Lions Club wanted me to announce that we are going to be having a log drive again this year. You're going to see tickets go on sale in the next week or two, and funds will go to support childhood cancer treatment and Camp Quarry. And congratulations, Mayor Johnson, on the AWC.
Thank you. Councilman Lavaca?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We had time to visit some of the parks again this last couple of weeks, and it's been wonderful seeing them. So I just wanted to remind everybody to take advantage of that as we move into springtime. Daylight savings is here, so we have a lot more sunshine, and hopefully we'll be seeing more kids out in those fields and more people playing around and getting some fresh air. Also, I will request to be excused for our March 26th meeting. And then the following meeting after that, I should be here. But if not, it'll be online.
Okay, thank you. So our next meeting.
March 26th.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, I'd motion to excuse Councilman Lavaca from the
Perfect.
I'll
next
second that.
All right, perfect. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then I have a couple announcements. Ones that I actually handed out. It is the North Star Connect Symposium that's going to be happening June 6th. I just want to get that on your radar. And registration for that will come, I believe it's in April. I also wanted to make the council aware, because we would love to see you there, of the Tulip Art exhibition. So in working with Nicole Rusin of the Tulip Festival, we came to an agreement where they would bring the original art to Sedro-Woolley. So we're going to, at the local shop, have a opening that will be April 4th. It'll be from 7 to 9. Would love to see you all there. This is the first time that that art has been out of the Tulip office. So this is a great opportunity to see the original works of arts that have really, been beautiful and what would be the word, kind of recorded and given history to our tulip festivities over the years. So would love to see you there. And with that, we will move on to public comment. It is 6:09. If anybody would like to give public comment, please give your name and how you're associated with Sedro-Woolley. And And keep it to 3 minutes. Is there anybody who'd like to make public comment?
Hello, I came in to pay my bill the other day, and I usually go up to the bulletin board to see what's up there. And I was surprised to see 3 advertisements for businesses up there. That is a public business for the city. It's not for businesses to post their what they're doing. You know, we're gonna have a band here and stuff. That's not what it's for. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the Bigfoot Den that had 2 of them up there, which is the mayor's tenant, or unless you sold the place or something. And it just didn't hit me right that you're advertising for your tenant up there. And it's not for businesses to be putting stuff up, or you put everybody's business up there. And I just didn't like that. All right, thank you.
All right, anybody else? All right, seeing none, we will close public comment and move on to unfinished business. We have 2 items tonight. The first is the professional service agreement for the Jones-John Liner Railroad Undercrossing Project, and Public Works Director Bill Bullock has this one.
Thank you again. So this is our public service agreement with David Evans Associates, was the preferred candidate in our selection process for the design of the Jones-John Liner Undercrossing Project, which is a TIB project. They've actually done work in Sedro-Woolley. They're responsible for the roundabout designs on Cook Road, what it was about 8 years ago. And I've worked with them for several years before in my other jurisdictions I've worked in. So what we have is a contract for their scope of work, and fee includes a management reserve. So part of this, as they've taken a look at and stepped into this project, they basically believe we may have some more work than what my estimate was, just dealing with BNSF, which has its own complications. And sometimes it goes smoothly, and other times it takes more effort. So as part of this motion tonight, they're basically asking for the full preliminary engineering budget amount, and then we'll have an additional basically 10% of management reserve, which gives us control of whether or not we use it. It's kind of like the idea you can't save money unless you start out intending to. And so we will, as we step into, I would say, around August in the design, we'll know how much of that we may need to use or not use. And then that's also part of my job, that I will be potentially asking for some more money just to cover us. I always like to have a little bit of buffer in my budget, but this is going to be a pretty big effort for this type of road design. So anyway, with that, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but they're anxious to get started.
All right, thank you. And he is looking for a vote tonight, so any questions for Director Bullock?
I got just one. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So Bill, on the, thank you for doing all the work on this too. It's quite the achievement to get this moving forward. So congratulations on that. And I'm sure it's gonna help relieve some of the traffic in the community as well. Personally, I'd still like to see our Minkler Road with the turn lane over there to help.
Minkler Road, right,
Minkler to help steer that. However, with this one, what would be the worst case scenario with budget overruns?
Well,
Or your projected
part of
worst
this,
case?
with the worst case, well, at this point in time, is about $40,000.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as we get into this design, as we start really coordinating with BNSF, we'll kind of understand more of what's going on with this. A lot of this has an unknown piece, because we really don't know, for instance, what the soils are like underneath the railroad fill grade and that type of thing. So I'm really hoping the utilities are minimal in this corridor, because right now we just have PSE poles. But some of my trepidation is a little bit, the project engineering manager on the Mount Vernon Library project, and we ended up finding 4 fuel tanks within that fuel print as we built it. So I like to be really conservative with that. But certainly as we get into the project, we'll have a better picture of that. And then there's also another opportunity for me to go after additional funding if we really need it. So this is the first step, and this will let us flesh out what all the understanding is. And, right now, this is our best guess of what it will cost to design and go to bid for this project.
And I naturally assume you'll probably keep us closely apprised if
most
anything
certainly.
goes up. Madam Mayor, I would make a motion for the professional service agreement and Jones John Liner for the R&R and the crossing project to be approved.
I'll second that. All right, we have a motion by Councilman LaVaca, second by Councilwoman Diamond. Is there any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Moving on to item number 2 under unfinished business, the 2025 Comprehensive Plan Vision Statement Update. This is Resolution 116025, and again, action is being requested.
Madam Mayor, if I may, on that one?
Yes.
I wasn't sure if we were going to do a presentation or anything, but we pretty much already did, and we had a really good conversation with it. Councilwoman Kesty did send something in, and I did really enjoy that one. The one I read in the packet didn't really have a feel. In fact, to me personally, just as one of the council members, it seemed that it was further from the last one that was originally put out for us to review. And so I think the one that was put forth from Councilwoman Kesty kind of honed in a lot. Maybe it didn't necessarily state the 2020 or 2046 statement, or that this is the future looking back. This is where we are looking back as a vision statement. But I don't know if the looking forward or looking back is really as relevant as to what is being said. So it really did capture a lot of it.
So I know the Planning Commission took it on, and
Yes, I
so
could
go ahead,
do a little,
Director
background
Glover.
here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you last saw this at the joint meeting between council and the planning commission. I think that was on February 5th. And we took all that input plus council member Kesty's statement as well. And then the comments from folks from the 250 people that responded in the survey, and then the open houses, and we took all, that was a lot to digest, put it all together. So we went back to our lab, so to speak, and our esteemed planner, Nicole McGowan, held a special planning commission meeting wherein she led the commission through a facilitation experiment. And you'll see in the packet there, breaking this down, she did a really good job. We got together with our planning commission, divided them up into twos, and the first exercise was to write down the components of what they think would be a bad mission statement, something that they don't want to see, and that's included there in your packet as a list. And then what would comprise a good mission statement, and that's also included in your packet there. And then from there, to take a look at the statements that have been produced to date, to go through and line by line see if this matches up with the comments that we'd heard from the commission in terms of what makes a good statement and what makes a bad statement. And I think it was about a 3-hour meeting. And then from that, we were able to craft this final statement that we felt reflected everybody's input to date. So that's what we're presenting here and hoping for approval, consensus at least, tonight. Or excuse me, approval of the resolution.
Okay. Any other comments? Go ahead, Councilman Burns.
I'm perfectly fine with the statement that they came up with. It sounds like there was a lot of deliberation put into it, and that they did incorporate portions of Councilmember Kesty's statement. I'm searching my email because I was curious how much, but I would be fine with approving this.
Councilman Henderson?
I was just wondering if we could take away the in 2046 and just start it with Sedro-Woolley. Because it just sounds kind of weird to me, reading through it. That was my only thought, if we could just start it with Sedro-Woolley as a city built on hard work.
I would leave that up to council if that's what you would want to do.
I would agree with that. It sounds like we're talking about obviously we're talking about in the future for the comp plan, but it does sound odd to me when I'm reading it as well.
Yeah, I agree too. And I also want to thank Councilmember Kesty for her work on this. And I'm fine with it, minus the 2046. I agree with Councilmember Henderson. It just reads strange, like, it almost is like in 2046, then everything should be will instead of is. It's awkward. Thank you.
And Councilman Loy?
I don't really have any problem with what we're reading. It's fine with me.
So does the council have a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the statement striking in 2046.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Henderson, second by Councilman Koch, to accept the updated vision statement with the removal of in 2046. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, one opposition, and that is from Councilwoman Kesty. All right, motion carries. That is it for tonight as far as our business goes. We do have an executive session. This is a discussion with the legal counsel about the current or potential litigation under RCW 42-30110-1I. And we will adjourn to the back room here to have that discussion.
Mayor, maybe
Yes.
20 minutes to start with?
20 minutes, thank you. So it is 6:21 right now. We will be back, or hopefully be back, at 6:41. Thank you.
Don't ever admit you're around that library project.
What? Oh, yeah, I know. You know, it was funny. The project manager from OAC, we get our first fuel tank, and it had 3,300 gallons of fuel in it. Do you know why that's good?
Well, because it's not seeped into the, it
That's
means
right,
it was still had a, it didn't have a hole in it.
You got that. Most people don't. And then we hit a second fuel tank, just as we were cleaning up that one. I'm really good at outdoor the whole ecology of the fuel tanks. And then we hit a third one. That one did leak, and we had to dig out a volume of about Olympic swimming pool to repeat that, and then fill it back in, compact it, and then re-sink a little bit. And then dig it out, put the footings. Telling me, man. And I said, there's a fourth fuel tank. And project manager, no, there's not. I said, yes, there is. There has to be. Because I got an old 1950s layout of all the buildings in that area. And the Episcopal Church had said it had steam heating. Steam heating means a boiler. A boiler is a tank. And he said, no, it's not. No, it's not. And it went on for almost a month between the third one. And all of a sudden, Adam walked in my office hanging his head. What the hell is wrong now? We just found the fourth fuel tank. I owe you lunch.
You say Ruth Chris?
Yeah. Don't eat too much. So yeah, it was like much richer. Was he asking about the? Actually, I think there was one that just never found that because there was also an old automotive shop over in the county of our office. Past that. Supposedly they used oil somehow. It's usually in an underground tank back in the day. But that would have been on Third Street. We built that.
Are we gonna talk about it?
Yeah,
Oh, is it coming back to council? Is that what you're asking? It's not on for this meeting. I think they decided to hold it and do some additional work on it. So I'm not sure when they're gonna bring that back to talk about.
It's a nice looking building.
I'm not sure when they're gonna bring it back. I don't know.
Every time it comes up in a meeting over there, it's like,
Building and planning would probably be the best people to talk to rather than. Yeah, they're the ones that will bring it back, like bring it back to council. It's definitely not happening tonight. Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna check it with them.
You can, we post the council packets every Friday. So you can always go onto our website and look to see if it's on the agenda.
You know where to find it on the internet?
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's under governing, right? And
Yeah,
then
governing and then
go under governing and then look for,
meetings.
council meetings.
I just scared because they said that there was a site today, so you said that or not.
I think they were gonna bring it back, but they just needed more time.
It's been a topic for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll just keep checking, I guess.
Check in.
Thank you.
You know, feel free to stop by and talk to them about planning too. They may.
Yeah, I was there last week and they told me that. And it's like, I'm trying to mail out, send my request to engineering, but, it's like.
Yeah. Not my world, but yeah. I know it's been a hot topic.
so best case scenario, when does that project actually?
Best case scenario, on my accelerated path, it will go to construction in 2026. The extra money in for accelerated design. That's why we hired DEA, because they need help with plans.
So with the undercrossing and everything?
So the bridge is built under a whole separate contract with BNSF. So that's gonna hopefully go in April or May. And then we just dig out everything under it and put the road under.
So we did a pre-plan meeting about a year ago with one of the pipeline companies.
Cascade Natural Gas.
Is that who? Because they're putting all new piping in down that same path all the way out towards Bayview, and they're gonna come down Jones.
Well, maybe I better talk to Adam's head. Because I know I have my 6-year tip lined out. I know how, I have an idea of how I'm gonna step forward with all the phases of Jones Road.
Well, and I believe it's them. If you go out to Collins Road, and just north of Collins Road, they have a laydown yard there.
So, yeah, so one of the things Cascade Natural Gas has been doing since I've been there, so 2019. So they've inherited, especially Mount Vernon, they basically bought the previous gas company's lines, and they've been chasing leaks all over Mount Vernon from the old steel pipe that's now 7 years old and starting to rot. And so they've set aside, I guess for the last 15 years, set aside enough reserves to start replacing as much as that's going into North Bellingham. And when that blew up, you know, that's right, because you create that leak, it starts filling the interstitials in the ground, whatever. Some sparks it, and all of a sudden it goes all the way back to the line where all the fuel is. So it doesn't happen often, it's pretty damn rare, but all you need, if you got that perfect storm, you got somebody digging with a backhoe, makes a spark. It doesn't do it happen in Bellingham, but it can be exciting. So they may very well have a corridor laid out so they can, because it's most efficient to stuff in rural type roads, because you don't have all these other utilities to work around, all these water gaps, and I want them to go ahead of us, so I'll start quoting Adam. I mean, I know Adam real well because
Yeah.
helping him for the past 4 years.
So they're not messing up your asphalt stuff
Well,
right after
Yep.
you're done.
And what that prevents them from doing is that if we build a new road, they won't go through the asphalt, but what they'll do is they'll buy easements off to the side, outside of right away.
You know that the mayor makes
Expand, we have to pay them.
$34,000.
So that's why.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. I did full-time Adam. Pretty much.
I mean, to
I wanna
be,
say
if you
they're
wanted to
going
be light, I would say,
all the way to Fruitdale,
like,
aren't they?
let's just say it's 75%.
Or maybe they're replacing,
You know,
because I know it's on
Like-
Jones.
It could also be.
But like-
$10 an hour. I didn't know that Cascade.
I think I estimated like how much a council member makes an hour by like how much time and then how much the mayor makes, and the council makes more per hour than the mayor.
Really?
Yeah.
Just by how much they take home, which isn't that much anyway,
Yeah.
versus the number of hours they work.
Because I think everybody that was in that pre-plan meeting is no longer here, so. Yeah.
Please, everybody.
Adam probably was. Adam said.
Yeah, I mean, from our side, like,
There's no please.
Oh, yeah.
No.
There's all sorts of things that I still got to learn in new jurisdiction. Yeah, this is what I like doing.
I wonder when they're gonna start that, because, man, they got that laydown yard full.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I don't know
This
who
is that
owns
late
it.
on, but, late on yards, who knows where they're actually laying down pipe. They could all be in Skagit County. They'll do a lay down yard within a 15-mile radius of a project.
Well, and I think that, if I remember right, that project goes all the way out to the port.
Very well could. You need natural gas, I think about it.
And I'm assuming they're gonna end up piping into the substation out here at Fruitdale by the golf course. Because that's where Williams or Olympic comes down. Williams.
I'll find out what their plans are, but yeah, when you're doing a comprehensive plan, they usually upgrade all those facilities and stuff too, because I mean,
Yeah.
might come back, they don't wanna come back.
All right.
So they do, Jim might do a lot of that stuff, and I get it out of the way.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Do you think the railroad is so disenfranchised? It has no, that we could just steal its.
That's what I heard.
Whatever she was interested in, I was fascinated.
No.
That's technically what we do with,
Yeah.
Including the two fire stations.
it's when it goes developed, they can still use it, right?
No, I'm just saying,
If they wanted to.
I'm just saying, the city's not stealing railroads.
So,
Otherwise, we'd be in the lawsuit just and we'd probably lose.
5, 3, or 5 of those.
Well, just like rails and trails, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's still all railroads, they just maintain
Cover
covered.
4 or 5 and just kind of feel what alley we covered, 2, 3.
I just don't get
But
it.
also from water.
But I guess there's lots of things I don't
Did
understand.
some control intel. They don't probably.
Getting to specialty things is like almost 2 million.
Hmm?
4 or 5 of these things.
Council will be in executive session for 10 more minutes until 6:51. The executive session will be extended another 10 minutes to 7:01.
George on Slidell.
Okay, it is 7:01. We are out of executive session. No action was taken. And with that, if there is no opposition, we are adjourned.